Okay, I think we're ready to go. Can everyone hear me well? I hope so.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Great. Well, good morning or good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you join us. Welcome. We are so happy to have you all here today. My name is Rebecca, and I think that I've been introduced to you previously, but I'm the sales and marketing manager here at DFnet. And before starting, as always, I like to cover a few topics, housekeeping topics. The thing is that we have proactively muted you for avoiding any background noise. But of course, we invite all of your comments and questions. So please look at the Q&A chat box on your screen, and if you have a question, drop it there, and I will hold the questions for the discussion at the end of the event. Today's webinar is being recorded. You know that we always share recordings with you in our website. So we will be able to share a link with you after the event is complete. And as you probably know, as we have been communicating to you throughout these past weeks with some newsletters, this is the agenda and speakers that we have for today. Welcoming our new release, DFdiscover 2021. Eric Bosch, DFnet Software Director at DFnet, will briefly remind us the journey that DFdiscover has been gone through. Shortly after, Summer Chaudhry will walk us through the main improvements that you will experience when upgrading to the latest version of DFdiscover 2021. We will be also hearing from some of our clients, their expertise and main benefits for being up to date with the latest versions of our software. And in this case, both Eric and Laurie Philip will guide us this section. And we have, I hope that we will have close to 10-15 minutes to the end for some questions. So at this time, I'm going to hand over the floor to you, Eric. So it's all yours whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Rebecca. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our DFdiscover 2021 webinar. My name, as you've heard already, is Eric Bosch, and I am the Director of Software Development at DFnet. Thank you so much for joining us today. Looking back, shortly after DataFax 2016 was released, DFnet started thinking about a significant refresh to DataFax. That thinking, together with input and feedback from each of you, led to DFdiscover. Our first release of DFdiscover shipped May 31, 2018. Since then, we have continued to improve and evolve DFdiscover with one significant release each year. In addition to a wealth of new features, the release last year of DFdiscover 2020 demonstrated that we could continue to develop a major software product while working remotely, as we were all forced to do so last March with the spread of COVID-19 reaching pandemic levels. When we started DFdiscover 2020, the software team was working together in the same physical office. By the time we finished that release, we were working remotely. I'm going to pause just for a quick second, pardon me. Laura B, are you seeing the right screen?
I am seeing your introduction screen.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So, yeah, we started DFdiscover 2020 working together in the same office and then finished working remotely. So among its successes, DFdiscover 2021 is significant because it has confirmed that we can ideate, create, and ship a software release from start to finish while working remotely, sharing ideas via email and messaging apps, and meeting with Zoom and Teams. We have enthusiastically adapted to full team, weekly developer meetings via video calls, daily stand-up meetings for project teams, virtual code reviews, new tooling and frameworks, hosting all of our infrastructure in the Azure cloud, and further refining our customer support for the software via email, telephone, and video. Whew. I'm exhausted just talking about it. We also successfully onboarded and worked with a university co-op student, that student telling us at the end of the term that it was their best co-op experience to date. Okay, well, we were still paying them, so how couldn't they say that? Because they had the feeling they were valued as an equal member of the team. As a result of this learning and growth, I am proud to share with you each today the exciting news that the DFnet software team is committing to being a fully remote software team. We are ending the lease for our physical office space in Dundas at the end of this month. This will give us the opportunity to add developers located anywhere in the world and continue to provide excellent development service. This is not something that I could have imagined in January 2020. And yet, here we are. Pretty cool, I'd say. We've also grown by sharing the leadership responsibility for releases. The DFdiscover 2021 release has been led by Samer, whom you'll hear from shortly, and David Du. Our entire software team has responded extremely well to my wanderings and wonderings, balanced with the steady messaging from Samer and David. Thank you, DFnet software team. Thank you to our testers at DFnet Research, who have stepped in to help us achieve deadlines, and to the data managers and business development team who provide valuable feedback along the way. Thanks to each of you, our user community, for your ideas, your enthusiasm, and your commitment to an excellent clinical trials data management experience. A reminder that DFdiscover 2021 is part of the DFnet family of eClinical solutions. As we thought about the DataFacts refresh a few years ago, we knew that a published API, a programming interface, in other words, would be important. A published API has since opened the possibility for new tools beyond our desktop applications, which now includes DFCollect, DFWeb, DFEngage, and in the near future, DFConsent. We are excited about the additional tools and features that can be built in the future by ourselves, our users, and third parties. With that said, it's time to hear about DFdiscover 2021 from Samer Chaudhry, Senior Software Developer at DFnet. Samer?
Thanks, Eric, for setting the stage for DFdiscover 2021 highlights. My name is Samer Chaudhry, and I'm a Senior Software Developer here at DFnet. It is important that your trusted CDMS software is flexible and offers new features while improving its quality. Based on customer feedback, we have added new features in DFdiscover 2021. Along with flexibility and quality, it is imperative that the software performs efficiently despite external factors. With flexibility, quality, and efficiency in mind, let's explore what DFdiscover 2021 has to offer. We have implemented more flexibility in DFdiscover 2021 by adding lookup tables in DFWeb and DFCollect. We also added a new interface to attach documents in DFExplore. With DFdiscover 2021, you now have the ability to output annotated eCRFs. The API now includes new requests to manage subject documents. Login dialogues are now enriched with study logos. And we have expanded custom properties in DFSetup to allow metadata descriptions for customizing tabular listing headers. Lookup tables provide a mechanism for coding information based on a key field. This mechanism can be used for several applications, including adverse event coding, drug name lookup, initial to name conversion for signature fields, consistent queries, and even for spell checking. As you already know, the DF lookup function is the interface between the edit-check language and DFdiscover lookup tables. The DFLookup function offers different modes to perform either silent lookups or display the lookup table in an interface, allowing users to further filter results and make a selection. Lookup table functionality has already been recognized by you as a legacy DFdiscover feature. In DFdiscover 2021, the lookup table functionality is implemented in DFWeb and DFCollect as well. With increasing requests to make DFWeb and DFCollect flexible for studies data entry, it was imperative to implement lookup table functionality here as well. To provide consistency, we kept the same look and feel as DFExplorer, yet we tried to simplify where possible based on each platform. All right, let's talk about attached documents interface. In DFExplorer, it is already possible to attach supporting documents using the plate menu, and subsequently those documents can be reviewed later using Review Images dialog. A document panel has been added in DFdiscover 2021. The document panel interface is available as an optional convenience feature to aid in navigating the list of attached documents and to simplify the task of attaching additional documents for the current page. This fully featured panel makes attaching documents to the current record simpler and faster with drag and drop capability. Documents can be viewed by traversing through the documents list without opening the Review Images dialog from the menu. This new feature is enabled by Display Document Panel preference, offering flexibility of hiding this panel. The ability to print annotated CRFs was added to DF setup several years prior to the introduction of eCRFs in DFdiscover. The flexibility of generating annotated eCRFs, either as PDF or to print, was an essential feature as annotated plate documents were required for audits. Implementing this feature was not as simple as annotated paper CRFs, where all the fields were constrained by the boundary of a single page. For eCRF plates, the fields are vertically aligned, and in no time the vertical layout of the plate exceeds the size of a paper as more fields are added. To overcome this caveat, we have added page numbers on each annotated eCRF page, should the plate layout spans over multiple pages. The key components of an annotated CRF plate, as highlighted here, are sure to be included in annotated eCRF output to be consistent with DFExplorer and DFWeb data views. The next change I'm going to talk about is in API, allowing users to manage attached documents. For our API users, we have made enhancements to include new requests for performing simple operations on subject documents, such as changing the status of a document being primary or secondary. Likewise, an API request can be sent to delete an existing document for a specific record. And yes, the ability to attach a document to a record has already been an existing feature of DFdiscover API. With DFdiscover 2021, the request to add a document to a subject record now also supports sending contents of the document in smaller chunks, which is beneficial when submitting a large document, and vice versa. The same capability is available now when fetching documents from DFdiscover server using the API. We have also added a new API request to submit documents to the server's new queue. PDF files submitted to the DFdiscover server via the API are processed in the same manner as pages sent by DFSend, email, or fax. And so, any barcoded pages are submitted to the new record queue for the appropriate study. Pages without barcodes are forwarded to the image router. While these API features may not be directly impacting many clients, the changes are contributing towards the next major release of DFdiscover. So let's talk about study logos. While you have seen glimpses of new icons in Eric's presentation, as well as some branding changes, we have made several look and feel improvements in DFdiscover 2021. Custom HTML banners in the login dialogs have already been a popular feature for adding customized messages and images in the login dialog. We're happy to announce that study logos are now supported in DFdiscover 2021 login dialogs, which are implemented to encompass both flexibility and efficiency with the use of local cache. Study logos are also visible in the login dialogs as well as in study listings in DFadmin. Next, I will talk about metadata descriptions. Recently, we introduced user-defined properties feature, adding the capability of defining custom property tags. And for clarity, we have renamed the user-defined properties to custom properties in DFdiscover 2021. To add more flexibility, we have extended the custom properties to not only assign a unique custom property tag, but also an option to assign custom property description. Custom properties dialog in DF setup is used to assign unique custom property tags at the study, plate, module, and field level. Tags are used as a reference for custom properties similar to a field alias and therefore must be unique across all custom properties and field aliases. Where tags can be selected and output, an optional description can be provided for use in the output. This description serves the same descriptive readability purpose as the description property of any database field. While these descriptions can be defined in study setup using DF setup tool, the description can be configured to appear in DF Explorer's list view and tabular listing reports based on user preferences. All right, let's talk about quality. To improve the quality in DFdiscover 2021, we have updated the development toolkit. We have made plenty of changes to our client applications, as well as server, to present a robust and stable software. We have also eliminated any issues and discrepancies in the user guides to improve the quality for better readability, along with improved tools messages. Compiler warnings cleanup, although an internal task, also strengthens the quality of software. We have also made improvements in terms of SSL libraries and offering better control on software security. All right, let's jump in and look into the details of each of the quality improvements. Software in general relies heavily on the underlying libraries made available by the operating system, which are updated frequently via the OS updates. Likewise, development kits and GUI libraries used for software development are also updated from time to time. And those upgrades enable software developers to incorporate more stability in the software and implement new features. As such, we have upgraded our Qt Toolkit dependency from version 5.12 to Qt 5.15, which is released as an LTS with several updates and have been cited by its own CTO as best and most stable. You will notice our applications are now presenting better adherence to dark mode. Similarly, the high DPI support for Retina display has been improved with Qt 5.15 upgrade, specifically for Microsoft Windows 10. Client applications offer numerous quality improvements that make this release important and valuable. With the quality in mind, we have made many improvements in DF Explorer, DF Collect, DF ATK, DF Setup, DF Web, and DF Admin. And of course, not to mention the backend server changes, which makes our entire DFdiscover 2021 release more robust and stable. The software quality is also recognized by its user guide and dialog messages. We have made several changes to our user guides as well as help dialogues for providing better user experience when searching through the documentation. And we have paid special attention to improve the quality of warning and information messages delivered by our applications to provide clear and concise information to the users. A clear message helps not only to our users understand the message, but gives them more insight on software functionality. Many of you are familiar with software programming and are aware that compiler errors are critical to resolve in order to make an application run. The compiler warnings are also important to be resolved as they are an indication of potential issue. Our goal has always been to keep our code free of any potential flaws. As we add new applications for our clients, the underlying development tools and programming languages have also increased. Despite that, in DFdiscover 2021, we have been able to resolve over 2,000 compiler warnings, thus leaving no chance of compromise in application quality. I touched upon earlier regarding the benefits of dynamically linking libraries to stay abreast of latest updates. We're proud to announce that DFdiscover 2021 is now dynamically linking to system SSL libraries, which means any updates made and applied to your device SSL library will be simultaneously adapted by DFdiscover client applications, thus eliminating the need to release and upgrade to a new version due to SSL vulnerabilities, as such vulnerabilities can be addressed simply by upgrading your system SSL library now. While talking about SSL and server security, I would like to highlight another change. In the previous release, we updated the set of default ciphers supported by DFdiscover to include only those that offer perfect forward secrecy, which is a good preventative measure to protect DFdiscover servers against malicious applications and attackers. Now, in DFdiscover 2021, we have also updated DFdiscover API server to include only those ciphers that offer perfect forward secrecy. And server admins can now control the list of supported SSL ciphers in both DFdiscover and the API server. The most significant benefit of this change is that DFdiscover admins can proactively choose which ciphers to add. This helps to future-proof these two, as the support for deprecated or new ciphers can be implemented without waiting for a new release of DFdiscover. And finally, after talking about flexibility and quality enhancements, I will end my presentation by highlighting changes that complements this software efficiency. There are several areas in our client tools where we have made performance-oriented changes, which not only makes our applications more efficient, but also promotes the user's productivity and efficiency. Local caching, faster UI responses despite slow networks, subject binder performance in DFCollect, and cleanup of 2FA authentication process are some of the changes I will shed some light on. In DFdiscover 2021, we have implemented local caching feature, which can be enabled per study basis. If an administrator has enabled local caching for one or more studies, frequently requested properties such as study logos, setup, configuration files will be automatically cached in each user's local environment. When enabled, the startup speed of desktop applications is optimized. This eliminates each application's need to request this information on subsequent uses or later logins. Although any user can clear their cache from the file menu in DF Explorer, Under normal circumstances, there is no need for the user to clear or remove local cache. DF Explorer efficiently manages the cache without user intervention. It is also worth mentioning here that subject data is never cached, regardless if local caching is enabled or disabled. As DFdiscover servers can be located anywhere around the world in a cloud's data center, the network latency can have a drastic effect on the performance of client applications. And having larger data sets being transported from across the continent on slower networks further influences the user experience in applications. In DFdiscover 2021, we have improved the efficiency of our applications to provide better user experience despite network speed. We accomplished this by using the local cache and applying lean network request techniques. Our developers had spent a significant amount of time performing rigorous testing on slower networks and large databases. All this effort to improve the client application's efficiency without compromising software quality features. Throughout our array of the client tools, whether it is DF Explorer, DF Admin, or DF Collect mobile app, we have improved performance significantly in DFdiscover 2021 to make it better than its predecessors, particularly for cases that are challenged with network performance. We have improved the performance of loading subject binders in DF Collect. And we accomplished this by leveraging local cache for both online and offline use, thanks to the great offline capability of DF Collect that allows users to cache the entire subject binder for offline use. Significant improvements in DF Collect are also implemented by efficiently reducing network requests by taking advantage of the new API request, thus providing better user experience and improving overall performance. While we have been working on DFdiscover 2021 to bring flexibility, quality, and efficiency, a lot of work has been put into the preparations of our next major release. And some of these changes were made to the DFdiscover API, which are also beneficial to our API clients. Another improvement in DFdiscover API is being implemented that makes both the client applications and the API more efficient and lean on license usage. With the implementation of two-factor authentication in the last release, the API kept the initial 2FA login session distinct and apart from the subject 2FA verified user session. While the separation is important, the lifespan of initial 2FA sessions has been reduced in DFdiscover 2021 to efficiently and quickly release licensed seats, thus making user seats available for more connections. DFdiscover 2021, also known as version 5.4, is a must-have upgrade for our clients who are looking for a robust and stable release, offering features like lookup tables in DF Web and DF Collect, dynamically linked SSL libraries, or improvements in document management. All this with an extensive list of changes throughout the software, bringing flexibility, quality, and efficiency with new branding look. At the end, I would like to thank you for being part of DFdiscover 2021 release, and thank you again for your valuable feedback and suggestions that makes our software more attractive for our valuable clients. Now I will pass the control over to Rebecca for the next segment of the webinar.
Thank you so much, Summer. I have not been able to check the chat, so I don't know yet if there is any question, but feel free to drop your comments, suggestions, or questions in there, and we will hold it for the last portion of the webinar. But before that, I'd like to introduce the next portion of this webinar, in which we will hear a couple of success upgrade stories from Eric and Lori. So Eric, whenever you are ready.
Thanks, Rebecca. You get to me again. We met Pascal Grenon at our first DFUG in 1993. Pascal doesn't look like he must have been probably 10 or 15 at the time. At the time, Avanya was known as Factory CRO, and Pascal was at Factory CRO. We were impressed with Pascal's get it done and why not attitude. We met Richard Veerman at DFUG 2016 in Durban. Every time that we've met since then, Richard has been curious and keen to try new things. When DFnet announced DFdiscover in 2018, Pascal and Richard immediately contacted us and asked about how to get going with our then new product. Within a short time frame, they were up and running with DFdiscover 2018, expanding the possibilities that they could offer their study teams and clients, while regularly providing us with detailed quality feedback. They continue to keep up with our software releases. We asked Richard to share with us why Avanya has taken this approach of staying up to date. Richard is unable to join us today, but kindly, provided us with the following points for consideration. I'll give you a few seconds to read what Richard wrote. I don't need to read it to you. As I reviewed the points that Richard provided, it was clear that an investment of time and effort is needed. What also stuck out for me was that the Avanya team recognized the added value of updating sooner rather than later, giving themselves an internal study database setup and management advantage. I also deeply appreciate their DFUG community-minded spirit, recognizing that by keeping up to date, they are contributing to the betterment of the software solution and the advancement of our DFdiscover community. Thank you, Richard, Pascal, and the Avanya team for sharing these insights and being a DataFax and DFdiscover customer for soon to be 30 years. Rebecca, back to you.
Thanks, Eric, and thanks, Avanya team, for allowing us to share your experience. So now, Lori, again, when you're ready to share your thoughts.
Hi, I'm Lori Filipczyk, and I'm going to discuss the reasons to upgrade as soon as possible. For the daily user of the DFdiscover database, upgrading to the latest version once it's released gives immediate access to the many new and improved elements. And being able to use the latest dashboard and reports provides a new, improved, or different view of the current study data. When you spend a significant amount of time in the database, access to the newer or an improved video and graphics capabilities that are now available is helpful in making the database easier to maneuver through the data. The upgraded backgrounds offer an improvement in searches of the database and reviewing data. And while reviewing the data, being able to incorporate the updated lookup table capabilities and using the most up-to-date query functions helps to maintain the data at a high and efficient level. Taking advantage of the bug fixes that have occurred since the last release of the software is one of the best reasons to upgrade to the new DFdiscover as soon as possible. Upgrading to the latest version also provides a clean slate for ideas for new components to be added in the next release of DFdiscover. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Lori. So we've came up to the latest part, or the latest portion of the webinar. So let me open the chat and see if there is any questions. It seems there is not. So if there is no questions there, feel free to unmute yourself and to make any questions you may have or any comments. I'd like to congratulate at least so far the team for this, for the progress so far and the release of this DFdiscover 2021. So thank you everyone that have participated and contributed to this success. Any comments or questions from our audience? It's your time to ask some of the developers. That is not only Summer or Eric also here, but most of our team within DFnet. So yeah, thanks, Andres. Andres is saying, thanks for adding the lookup table support for DFWeb.
We're glad, Andre, for your support for all those years, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much, and we hope you enjoy that with DFdiscover 2021.
Good job, guys. Nidhi from PHRI. We are just exploring the system and test environment. It's impressive, the changes that you have brought in. It's good job.
Thank you.
And more congratulations in the chat from Dan. He just wants to thanks to DFnet and the developers for all the excellent improvements. The SSLs and security updates are great. Thank you, Dan. And Amy Morrow is asking, have there been any additional options for adding some limited form instruction to the ECRF beyond the insert screen option? I don't know, Summer.
So in ECRFs, there are options to either print or as a document, or you can save it as a PDF. And of course, with ECRF now there are screens, which has been implemented ever since we have modules and screens for DF Collect and DF Web. So yes, those have been printed and have been included in ECRFs and CRFs. Both are present. The only option that you have available when you are generating an annotated CRF is to specify for CRFs whether you have additional background images and you want it printed on multiple pages, which I'm sure you're already aware of. And on top of that, you can customize whether you want to see field names or aliases. At this point, beyond that, there is not much control.
Thanks, Summer. We're having another question. Amy is saying thank you. We're having another question from Beacon. Will DFdiscover be able to combine in DF Quala upload of study setup definition along with Dftable /NNN data? Maybe if you can read it in the chat.
I'll pass this question to Eric.
Okay, thanks, Samar. Vicken, always good questions. Thank you. I would say in this release, we have not attempted to do that. It is a great idea, and I think we're going to take a harder look at how much we want to push to SQL databases. So what you're asking for is an important step. We have it in mind, and we'd like to take a bigger step in a future release. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Eric. I just want to read a couple of two comments, not questions, from, well, one question before the next. Can I use DF Quala to MongoDB? I mean, in the future, from Pontep.
Thanks, Pontep. It's an interesting idea. I will say that we have not yet discussed talking to MongoDB. If there is lots of interest from the user community, then we will certainly consider how to make that happen in the future. Thanks always for your support and your great questions.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I was just reading a few words from Nita, saying thank you for your help desk support from time to time. And we have Pascal here from the Vania team saying, as always, great stuff. Congratulations with yet another great release. Thank you, Pascal. Thanks so much. And we have a new message. Okay, it's Pontek saying thank you. Beacon, thanks, Eric. It will be very useful having study definition along with a study in SQLDB. Thumbs up. Well, if there are no more questions, we're still, oh, Dan, I have this question answered for you in my next slide, that I like to make some announcements regarding DFAC meeting this year. So if there is no more questions, I will go. Okay, there are still another question. Is Medra web browser type of lookup engine available for Medra coding in future releases?
So I'll try this, Samer, unless you feel confident. Nita, so the Medra lookup engine in DF Web is the same as the Medra lookup engine will be now and has been in DF Explorer. So if that's what you're looking for, that functionality, then yes, in DFdiscover 2021 version of DF Web, Medra lookup table coding in DF Web is supported.
Great. Thank you, Eric. And just being conscious also for the time, if you have any other questions, you will have an email to send us additional questions or comments at the end, but I'd like to move to the last part of the webinar. Thank you everyone for being here. Just to answering Dan's questions about when and where is the next DFAC. Well, next DFAC is going to be virtual. So where is already solved. The question when, probably you've been received a few announcements in the previous, in some newsletters that we have been communicating with you. The next DFdiscover user group event will take place on September 15th and 16th in 2 half-day sessions that will be full of interactive presentations, demos, and opportunities to share ideas. The new thing that we have, so we've announced this in our previous webinar when we launched DF consent or e-consent capabilities, but the new thing that we have to communicate today is that registration will open next week. So not only save the date, but don't forget to save your spot. More details to come. The agenda will come too, but as I said, don't forget to register. Just to close, thank you to everyone. Thanks to everyone that joined us today, that has joined us today. And also thank you everybody from DFnet that has helped to create this webinar today. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and don't forget to contact us if you have any additional questions or comments. Thanks so much, everyone.